Welcome back, everyone. All right, let's just dive right into this. When you hear the word Maldives, what immediately comes to mind? Crystal clear, turquoise waters, right? Overwatered bungalows, pristine white sand beaches, just the ultimate escape from the hustle and bustle of modern life. It's literally the picture-perfect postcard of a tropical paradise. But today, in this explainer, we're looking at a newly proposed national strategy document that reveals a completely different and honestly kind of surprising reality for the people who actually live and work there. We are unpacking the Maldives' severe environmental allergy crisis. It's a massive public health challenge that is actually forcing the entire nation to completely rethink its urban planning and healthcare strategies.
So, is paradise making people sick? I know, it sounds like a total contradiction, doesn't it? To really understand this, we have to look past those secluded resort islands and focus on the local population centers, because that pristine, idyllic image we all have, it actually masks a harsh reality of rapid urbanization. We're talking incredibly dense living conditions, urban smog, constant construction dust, and industrial activities all squeezed into extremely limited land areas. And the result of all this? A skyrocketing rate of severe environmental allergies and respiratory illnesses among the locals. The Maldives is facing a truly unique environmental health challenge here. You've got rapid development happening at breakneck speed, but it's occurring in highly concentrated, densely populated spots, and that creates a massive compounding effect. When you have such limited space, every single new construction project, every new vehicle hitting the road, and every industrial workshop has an immediate, localized impact on the air quality of the whole community.
Section 1. Trouble in Paradise. So, the crucial point to understand here is that we aren't just talking about a few people getting the sniffles during spring. Not at all. This environmental pollution is causing a significant spike in serious respiratory illnesses, things like asthma, allergic rhinitis, and sinusitis. And that dominoes into some massive national issues. We're seeing drastically increased healthcare expenditures for both the government and everyday individuals, plus a severe drop in workforce productivity because of sick leave and absenteeism. This isn't just an inconvenience, it's a severe economic and public health threat that is actively straining their national system. Which really brings us to a major question. How exactly does an entire nation's allergy rate just skyrocket like that? What are the specific everyday sources driving this invisible threat? Section 2. The 6 hidden culprits. Now, what's really fascinating here is that this national proposal doesn't just broadly point the finger at pollution in general. No, it isolates exactly 6 primary sources that are driving this health crisis across the islands. And by identifying these 6 exact culprits, the government is setting the stage for targeted, highly specific interventions. Let's look at what they actually are. First up, traffic fumes. We're specifically talking about motorcycles, cars, ferries, and generators, which are heavily concentrated in urban centers like Mali and Hulamali. Second is tobacco smoke in public and indoor spaces. Third, seasonal tree pollen, which gets whipped up and dispersed by the wind straight across the islands. Fourth on the list is indoor dust and mold. These thrive in the humid island environment, especially in buildings that have poor ventilation. Fifth is construction site pollution. Think cement dust and chemical fumes right next to people's homes. And finally, industrial workshop emissions, like welding fumes and fiberglass particles. You can see how these are everyday, inescapable elements for the citizens living in these rapidly developing urban centers. Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is how the proposal directly anchors these somewhat abstract pollutants to tangible, severe medical impacts. For instance, traffic fumes aren't just an annoyance on your commute, they are a major contributor to fine particulate matter, causing long-term lung damage. Construction dust is directly linked to acute asthma attacks, eye irritation, and skin allergies. And those industrial emissions, which, by the way, often come from workshops lacking proper filtration, they actively increase the risk of chronic lung disease. It's a pretty stark visualization of exactly how the built environment is interacting with the human body. So, presented with a crisis of this magnitude, how do you cure an entire nation's allergies? Obviously, you can't just hand out more tissues, right? You need a comprehensive, multi-layered strategic response. Section 3. The 4-Pillar Master Plan. The first 2 pillars of this master plan focus heavily on environmental and urban planning, right alongside workplace protection. Basically, the status quo up until now has been planting whatever trees happen to look nice, which are often high pollen ones, and working in standard offices with, frankly, pretty poor air circulation. But the new proposed strategy completely flips this on its head. They're proposing planting low-pollen tree species instead, developing dedicated green buffer zones around schools and hospitals, mandating strict indoor air quality standards for both government and private offices, and implementing serious dust control regulations for construction sites, like mandatory water spraying and protective barriers. It is a fundamental shift from a reactive environment to a highly protective one. Moving on to the third pillar, we have direct public health interventions. Instead of just waiting for people to get sick, the strategy focuses proactively on community resilience. They're actually proposing seasonal allergy forecasting systems. Imagine checking your phone in the morning, not just for the weather, but for the allergy forecast before you leave the house. Pretty smart, right? They also plan to roll out subsidized preventative medication during high-risk seasons, integrate environmental health education straight into the school curriculum, and push strong smoking cessation programs. It's really all about building awareness and protecting vulnerable populations way before the peak allergy seasons hit. And the fourth pillar brings in the national budget and economic measures. This is incredibly smart policy design. They want to implement seasonal health budgeting to actually prepare for those peak allergy months. By investing heavily in preventative care upfront, the ultimate goal is to significantly lower long-term treatment costs down the line. Furthermore, they're proposing digital health monitoring systems for real-time case tracking. This is a game changer because it allows the government to track flare-ups digitally and deploy resources exactly where and when they are needed. That directly protects the crucial workforce productivity we talked about earlier. But, policies on paper are great. How do they actually become reality? This is a massive structural master plan that requires some incredible coordination. Section 4. Building a healthier future. Let's move to the rollout and see how this builds, because this ambitious master plan is structured around an explicit 5-phase implementation framework. This definitely isn't happening overnight. Phase 1 starts with policy development, drafting the actual regulations across multiple ministries, from the Ministry of Health all the way to the Ministry of Construction. Phase 2 focuses on public awareness and capacity building, making sure everyone is on board. Then, Phase 3 is the physical rollout, infrastructure and monitoring deployment. That means getting those digital trackers and forecasting systems online. Phase 4 is where the teeth come in, enforcement and compliance. This is making sure those construction sites and industrial workshops actually follow the new rules. And finally, Phase 5, evaluation and continuous improvement. It is a brilliantly structured feedback loop designed to ensure the policies actually work and adapt over time. And that brings us to the core mission of this entire proposal. As the document beautifully summarizes, by adopting the strategies outlined, the Maldives can significantly reduce pollution exposure and build a healthier, more resilient population. That right there is the ultimate expected outcome. It's not just about managing symptoms anymore. It is about a measurable, sweeping improvement in national well-being, economic stability, and environmental governance. They are literally redesigning their society so their people can simply breathe easier. It's a really fascinating look at how a nation known for its pristine environment is tackling the very real, very gritty challenges of rapid urban development. And it leaves us with an important question to reflect on. What hidden pollutants are lurking in your own rapidly developing city? How are your local urban planning and air quality regulations protecting, or maybe failing to protect, your health? Think about that the next time you walk past a construction site or check your daily weather app. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.